Good morning, students. Welcome to today's lecture. Chapter name is Number Systems. In this chapter, first of all, we should learn what do we mean by a number and types of numbers. So, from our childhood, we have been studying numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, all the counting numbers. But in this class, we have to understand the basic types of numbers that we have went through till now. So first of all, the first division of numbers is two types, that is real number and imaginary numbers. Imaginary numbers is not in our course of class 9th. It will come in class 11th. Numbers like under root minus 3, under root minus 5, which are not possible, they are called imaginary numbers. These numbers are not possible because there is no number whose square is negative. That is why this number is not possible. Okay, we will deal with these numbers in class 11, so you can leave it now. Now, the numbers we have been studying from class first are coming in real numbers. Real numbers are further of two types: rational numbers and irrational numbers. Rational numbers are the numbers that can be written in the form p upon q, where q is not equal to 0, and this p and q both are integers. Got it? Now, why this q cannot be equal to 0? Because in any fraction, if denominator is 0, that number is not defined. Why? Suppose you want answer of 2 upon 0. Can you think of the solution? No, because 2 upon 0 is not defined. Because in the table of 0, you will never find 2. But on the contrary, 0 upon 2 is defined. So, numerator can be 0, no issue. But denominator can never be equal to 0. Similarly, irrational numbers are the numbers that cannot be written in the form p upon q. Example is under root 3, under root 5 and under root 7. This under root 3 is different from this one. This is under root minus 3. That is why it is imaginary. Okay. This is only under root 3. So you can't write under root 3 in the form p upon q. Hence it is known as irrational number. Okay. Now, rational number are further divided in two parts: integers and fractions. Now, what is integer? As it is coming in rational number only, we can define integers as p upon q, where q is always 1. Why? Because we know integers are from minus infinity to plus infinity. Numbers like plus 1, minus 1, 0, 2, 3. So these all numbers are simple numbers. They do not have any fraction other than 1. So the denominator is fixed like 1, then it is a integer. Second is fractions, like simple rational numbers only, 2 upon 3, 5 upon 5. Here there is no condition on denominator. Denominator can be any number except 0. Okay. Now, as I told you, integer is t upon q, where q is always 1. Now, further we can divide integers in many type of numbers, like negative numbers from minus infinity to minus 1. Then we have whole number from 0 to infinity. So these two combine to form integers. Then we have natural numbers from 1 to infinity. Then we have even number 2, 0 to 4 and so on. Similarly, odd numbers. Prime numbers are the numbers that have only two factors. First, the number itself, and second, 1. So, first prime number is 2, second prime number is 3, and so on. You can find remaining prime numbers. Composite numbers, those numbers which are having more than two factors, are known as composite numbers. So the first composite number we have is 4, then 6, then 8. You can see 4 has three factors: 1, 2 and 4 itself. But 2 has only two factors: 1 and 2. 3 has only two factors, 1 and 3. Okay. One more thing, this number 1 is neither prime nor composite because it has only one factor, that is 1. So it is called a unique number. Okay. Now, what do we mean by co-prime and twin prime? Just for the knowledge, it is not in the chapter, but still for the knowledge I am discussing it. What is the co-prime numbers? These are defined as two numbers are said to be co-prime if they have only one factor in common, that is 1. Only 1 can divide both the numbers. Then they are known as co-prime numbers. Okay, there is no condition that both should be prime. Okay, let's see. Or you can say two numbers whose highest common factor is 1 only are said to be co-prime. What is the note over here? It is not necessary for both numbers to be prime number to become co-prime. So it is not a condition. Example 21 and 22. You can see they both are not prime numbers, but combined they are co-prime numbers. Why? Because only one can divide both of them. Similarly, 14 and 15 are not prime numbers. Still, you can see only one can divide them. 2 comma 3. They both are prime numbers. But again, one can divide them. Hence, they are also known as co-prime numbers. 5 comma 7. Again, example of co-prime numbers. Now, twin prime numbers. Kindly pay attention. Two prime numbers. Here condition is there that both should be prime number are said to be twin prime if the difference between them is 2. For example, 5 comma 7. They both are prime number, first condition, and the difference is 2. Hence they are twin prime. Similarly, 11 comma 13. They both are prime numbers and difference is 2. Hence it is also a twin prime. 17 comma 19, again an example of twin prime number. So you can say this is the bigger set co-prime numbers and twin prime is a part of it, you can say. Okay, just as in the previous slide we have seen, the biggest set is numbers. In that we have real number, imaginary number. Then in real number we have rational, irrational. Then in rational we have this, what do you say, integers, fractions. In integer we have negative numbers, whole numbers, and so on. It is just like branches of a single seed, okay, single tree. Now, concept of number line also we have studied in last class. Let's see it one more time. What is a number line? Number line is a straight line having arrows at both the ends. Why we have to draw arrows at both the ends? To show that this number line can be extended in any direction wherever we require it. Okay, and on which numbers are placed at equal intervals. Very important. Numbers are placed at equal intervals. Numbers are written in ascending order from left to right. So when you move from left to right, the numbers will increase. So you can say the leftmost number on a number line is the smallest and the rightmost number will be the largest. Okay. Now see, this is a number line in front of you. You can see arrows on both the ends. Then these are the numbers on equal intervals. I have drawn roughly, but you can use scale also to draw them. You can see minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. The numbers are increasing. That is why I told you when you go from left side to right side, numbers will increase or they are arranged in ascending order. Okay, got it? Now, in class 8, we also studied how to locate points on a number line. So today we will learn how to locate rational numbers on a number line. In this class, we will study many more things to locate a number line like irrational numbers and all. But before that, we must remember what we studied in class 8th. Okay, so let's see how to do that. Suppose we want to locate 5 upon 3 on number line. How to do it? Let's see. First, find the number find the integer actually, find the integer between which this number lie. So first of all, we need to understand that which two integers are greater than and less than this number 5 by 3, because then it will be easy for us to locate it. Okay, because just by seeing at it you can't guess where it will lie. Okay, now, so first of all I will make like this: 5 by 3, then a box, a integer value I have to find here as well as here. So this value that I will find will be more than 5 by 3, and this value will be less than 5 by 3. I have written also, to find the larger integer, we will try to increase 5 so as to make it divisible by 3. Okay, we all know what is an integer. In an integer, the denominator should be how much? 1. Okay, so we have to make this 5 in such a way that it could be divided by 3. So we want a larger number, so we will increase 5. Suppose we increase it by 1, it becomes 6, and we know 6 upon 3 is 2. So we can get our larger integer very easily. Similarly, to get the smaller integer, we have to reduce 5 so that it can be divided by denominator. So when you reduce it to 4, not divisible by 3, when you reduce it to 3, it becomes 3 upon 3, which is the lower integer. By this method, we can find the smaller integer and the greater integer. Okay, let's see. So I have told you how to find the larger integer and the smaller integer. But we have done nothing much. We have just increased the numerator to a value which can be divided by denominator. Similarly, to find the lower number, I have decreased the numerator so that it can be divided by the denominator. So it is 1, it is 2. So I am sure now that this number 5 by 3 will lie between integers 1 and 2 on the number line. Now we will draw a number line and draw all the points like this. Now I know my answer lies between 1 and 2. Now the question comes, how to find the exact position of this number 5 by 3. For that, now we will consider the denominator. How much it is? 3. So we need 3 sections between 1 and 2 of equal measure. For that, what you can do, between 1 and 2, draw 2 lines like this at equal distance. Now you can see this is the first section, second section and third section. So we have made 3 equal divisions between 1 and 2. Now see how it helps us. This one integer can be seen as 3 upon 3 as we have seen here. This 2 can be seen as 6 upon 3 as we saw here. Now we know next number after 3 by 3 should be 4 by 3. Very easy. So this line represents 4 by 3. The next line will represent how much? 5 upon 3. And which is our answer. I hope you understood this. There are many methods to find numbers between given numbers, but this is my method. You can try this also for any question. Okay. Now, suppose you want to locate minus 7 by 5. I am taking an example of negative number because it is little bit confusing. So that's why I am taking it. Same thing you have to do. You have to write the number like this: minus 7 by 5, and you have to find a larger integer and a smaller integer. So first let's think how to find the larger integer. For the larger integer, we have to increase the numerator. We have to increase the numerator such that it can be divided by 5, isn't it? So you know minus 6 is larger than minus 7 but not divisible by 5. Minus 5 is larger also, and we can see minus 5 upon 5 is minus 1, which is an integer. So here box, what will come? Minus 5 upon 5, which is minus 1, an integer. Similarly, I have to decrease minus 7 for the lower integer. So while decreasing, I found if I make it minus 10, it can be divided by 5. So let's put here minus 10 upon 5. So we have got minus 2. So this gives me that my given number lies between minus 2 and minus 1, isn't it? So we have got the location where we can locate this number. So first thing again, draw the number line with arrows at the end, draw all the numbers. Now make the markings minus 1, minus 2, 0, 1, 2. Now we know our answer will lie between these two. We know our answer lies between these two. So we have to see this denominator now. It will help us to make number of divisions between minus 1 and 2. How much it is? 5. So we need how many divisions between these two numbers? 5 divisions. So you can see I have made 5 divisions. For that I have to draw 4 lines between them. First line, second line, third line, fourth line. So after drawing 4 lines, I have got 5 divisions. Let's see how. First division, second division, third division, fourth division and fifth division. Okay. Now let's locate it. This minus 2 can be seen as minus 10 upon 5. This minus 1 can be seen as minus 5 upon 5. So if it is minus 5 upon 5, the next number which is lower than this will be how much? Minus 7 by 5. The next number which is lower will be minus 8 by 5, minus 9 by 5, minus 10 by 5. So we need to find this number. This is the answer. I hope you got this. In case of any confusion, kindly see the last example and this one more time. Okay. Now, second thing that we studied in class 8th is finding rational numbers between given numbers. Okay. Nothing I am teaching is useless because everything you need to understand before coming to this chapter topics. So, if someone says find numbers between 1 and 2, what we used to do, let's recall. First, we write the number in P by Q form if the number is simple. So, here we can say it is 1 by 1, it is 2 by 1. Can't we say? Yes. Second, we make the denominator same if they are not same. In our case, they are already same, so no issue. Third, we find equivalent fractions by multiplying in numerator and denominator. Let's see how. The first thing is numbers are 1 and 2. I wrote them like 1 upon 1, 2 upon 1. Nothing is changed. After this, we have to see how to increase the range between them. Okay, so we will use the concept of equivalent fraction. Let's see how. What I have done is I have multiplied 10 in the denominator as well as numerator of the first number as well as second number. So I have got 10 upon 10 which is an equivalent fraction of 1 upon 1 and 20 upon 10 which is an equivalent fraction of 2 upon 1. Now you can see just by these equivalent fractions how easily we can find number between them, because we know in between them we have 11 upon 10, 12 upon 10, 13 upon 10, 14 upon 10, 15 upon 10 and so on. Okay, isn't it easy? Okay, thank you.